Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Lamplight City. This is an awesome adventure retro style detective mystery game. We are Miles Fordham here and I am having a blast and I hope you are too. My name is Darwin and I play video games. Thank you for joining me today. So, last episode we got rid of the pesky Officer Parsons here and now we can hopefully get into the room. Officer Kane? Let's have some words, please.
Begging your pardon, officer.
Yes, what is it, sir?
Do you enjoy working with Officer Parsons?
If I'm being honest, he can be a bit much sometimes.
Trust me, you're not the only one who feels that way. I didn't have much interaction with him when I was a detective, but the few times I did weren't very pleasant.
I could tell he doesn't seem to care much for you. Although I don't think he cares much for anyone except the chief, and that's only because he's the one who gives out the promotions.
What was Chief Snelling doing here?
He was inspecting the crime scene.
Yes, but why was he involved? Is there something special about it that would require the chief of police to look into it?
Well, someone thought it might be related to the big case we're not supposed to talk about.
You mean the mass murderer?
Yes, sir. I could see why the chief is upset that the news has gotten out.
And is it related?
No, I don't believe so. But the news reports have been getting the public on edge.
Of course. The less information there is, the easier it is for rumors to start spreading.
Exactly. Chief Snelling has a lot of fires to put out.
If that's the case, it's too bad he didn't get to Miss Lathan in time.
Is there anything you can tell me about Desiree Lathan?
I couldn't really say.
Come now, I'm trying to help this investigation. Any small detail would be useful.
Well, I haven't really looked over the crime scene too much. It's rather gruesome, you see.
Is the body still here?
Yes, what's left of it at any rate. Miss Lathan was only identified by the tattoo on her foot.
I see.
Oh my.
Has there been much progress here?
Snelling and Parsons examined the scene, that's all I know.
Do you think I might have a look, now that the initial investigation's been conducted?
I'm afraid that's out of the question, sir. I have my orders.
Officer Kane, I'm trying to aid this investigation. There may have been something overlooked by the others.
If Parsons were to catch you, my career would be over.
Trust me, he won't be back for some time. I swear on my honor as a former member of the New Bretagne police.
All right, I suppose you can go in for a moment, but please be quick about it.
Thank you, Officer Kane. I promise this will stay between us.
I just love rookie officers. They're so gullible. I once got one to shine my shoes for a week after convincing him it was department policy. Good times.
Ew.
Thanks for your time, officer.
Not a problem.
All right.
That's certainly a pungent aroma. I can see why the officer stuck to the living room.
Surprisingly modest quarters for a grande dame. You'd never guess she could buy out the likes of you and me 1,000 times over.
Oh my. Where do we begin?
Doesn't look as though this fireplace has been used in a long time. I suppose we can rule it out as the source. As much as I like this painting, this isn't the time for art appreciation. It looks as though Miss Lathan was in the middle of writing something.
It's an article for Brentwell magazine.
Igniting the fires within.
Igniting the fires within.
Thanks, Bill.
A bit on the nose, wouldn't you say? Classic Brentwell. They have a reputation for making their writers go to extremes for their articles, all for the sake of entertainment.
Perhaps we should pay their offices a visit, see exactly what it was Miss Lathan was doing for them.
Igniting the Fires Within by Desiree Lathan for Brentwell magazine. We're all familiar with the idea of an inner fire, a term usually applied to our sense of passion or determination. What if that inner fire was of a more physical nature? That is to say, if each of us had the capability to light a real fire within our bodies. Apropos, I guess. And I'm going to turn the music down. I like the music, but I think it's a bit loud here. Alright, that should be better.
Some crumpled up letters. They look to be of the romantic variety.
They're from the same person, one Peter Andrews.
It's always sad to see a case of unrequited love. I'm thinking we should find out who this Peter Andrews is.
Good idea. Now, are you finally willing to admit that looking through rubbish does yield results sometimes?
Fine, you win. but I don't think I envy your prize.
Dearest Desiree, offer you my heart, though I am sadly unable to offer you my hand. Oh, that circumstances were different. Why must life and love both be so cruel? I must continue to love and admire you from afar. I can only hope these feelings are mutual. Love, Peter. A couple months later. My dearest Desiree, once again I must declare my love for you, though you have not yet responded to any of my letters. I maintain hope that you care for me as I do for you. I remain ever faithful. Call upon me and I will rush to your side. We will embrace as Mr. and Mrs. Andrews at long last. Creepy.
That's a nice portrait of Miss Lathan. Too bad it was damaged by the fire. The area where the artist's signature should be has been singed and is unreadable. Too bad.
But the date is still legible. It's from this year.
That's a nice portrait.
But the date...
Looks like this one barely managed to survive. Pity. It looked like a nice work of art. The flames must have been fairly high to be able to stain the ceiling like that. Ashes to ashes and all that. I'm glad I was buried. Cremation always seemed a bit too hot to handle.
Now's not the time for jokes, Bill.
Are you serious? Death is the best time for jokes. Otherwise, it's all just a bunch of boo-hoo-hoo this and wah-wah-wah that. And trust me, there's plenty of that in life. Hell, you'd know better than anyone.
All right. Just shut it for a bit while I look over the crime scene, would you? I need to concentrate.
Oh my.
I don't think Desiree will be able to give us a hand with this investigation.
Bill?
What? I thought it was funny. Ugh, greasy, fetid, stinking ashes. Who knew the human body was capable of producing such a disgusting byproduct?
I'm surprised the coroner hasn't taken the body away yet.
Probably because there isn't much of a body left to take. Either that or Dr. Edwards knows better than to deal with something like this.
That's extremely unlike him. He'd jump at the chance to examine this body. Perhaps we should allow him the pleasure.
I hope you're not suggesting what I think you're suggesting.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, Miles, really? You're going to carry the ashes around in a pewter mug?
It's vital to the investigation that we find out exactly what happened to the body. If anyone can tell us for certain, it's Dr. Edwards.
Fair enough. I suppose this isn't the most unpleasant thing you've carried around before. Remember that time we had to go looking for that murder victim's missing head?
I'd really rather not, actually.
Oh, that sounds like an interesting case.
This one's clean. Well, aside from the fact that the rest of the leg is burned off. There's a tattoo on her ankle. It says, "Dancing through life." Hate to break it to her, but that dance is over. Alas, poor Desiree, a woman of infinite riches, of tastes most fancy. Where's all your money now? Come to think of it, that question might be worth answering.
Got a point there.
I don't think there's much else we can...
All right. Ash pile.
Odd. Another pile of ashes under the bed. Looks as though whatever she kept underneath got burned too. Or it could be that whatever was under the bed is what caught fire in the first place. Although, there's no evidence of what started it. All that's left is a small piece of cloth. Might as well take it.
The cloth appears to have some oily residue on it. Interesting. There's a letter in here.
Dear Miss Lathan, this letter is to inform you that
This
we
just keeps
received
getting more
your
and more
request to
interesting.
make changes.
The law firm of Usher and Price isn't too far from here. I think it's definitely worth paying him a little visit.
Sometimes I don't know when they're going to be saying stuff. Dear Miss Lathan, this letter is to inform you that we have received your request to make changes to your beneficiaries indicated in your last will and testament. Please come to the law offices of Usher and Price at 72 Cadman Street, Worcester, so that we may review the documents and make the necessary edits. All right, anything else? Nope. All right, so let's look. We've got burned cloth. No suspects yet. We have the documents, some objectives. Still going to be more at the Supper Club. Brentwood Magazine, Dr. Edwards, and Jonas Usher. Okay. So, Let's see. Where should we go next?
Was there someone else in the room just now? I thought I heard you talking.
Oh, no. It's just sometimes I think aloud when investigating crime scenes.
I see.
Good save. We don't need any more police officers thinking you're insane.
Ugh. The smell from the bedroom is getting worse. I don't know how much longer I could stand it.
Nothing new to ask him about right now.
Alright. So.
No.
Nope, still can't do anything there. Look at the books.
Judging by these books, let's just hope we're...
Nope. Alright, so let's see the new locations we have in the map. Brentwell, Gascon, Police Station, Usher and Price. So let's go to Brentwell first.
Ah, hello there. Are you here to drop off an article?
No, actually, I'm a private investigator. The name's Miles Fordham.
How exciting. You must have so many interesting stories.
You could say that, yes.
Please, come in, come in. I'm Alan Brentwell, owner and publisher of Brentwell magazine.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Goodness, what a stench. When did you last wash?
Oh, that? No, I've just got these ashes of a burned woman in my coat.
I see. I'm sure you've got your reasons for doing so. If you'd ever like to write an article about the experience, I'll be glad to take a look at it.
Alright. That was amusing.
Confessions of a Steam Addict by Ezra Bartley. I think I'm better off not knowing. For Whom the Bell Almost Tolled by Suki Snobs. Fascinating stuff. Useful for getting to those hard-to-reach places. In my case, that's everywhere. For the publisher of a sensationalist rag, Brentwell is awfully well read. Assuming he actually has read all those books, of course. Empty. Too bad. Brentwell has a front row seat to all the horrible things he might want to write about in his magazine. I can only begin to imagine how many lurid and salacious articles are kept in those cabinets.
Alright, nothing else? So let's talk to him.
I have some questions for you, Mr. Brentwell.
Wonderful! It's so seldom I get to answer questions.
Okay.
What made you decide to start this business?
I always wanted to be a journalist. I never had much luck with any of the local papers, though. So I decided to start my own. I admit it's not exactly what I wanted, but I like to think Brentwell magazine has found its own unique voice.
Voice? More like a gurgling scream.
Tell me about Brentwell magazine.
We're a monthly publication focusing on both fiction and non-fiction pieces.
Ah, yes, you're publishing that serial, aren't you? The Dissembling Mechanism?
You're a subscriber! Tell me, what did you think of the conclusion? Quite astonishing, wasn't it?
I haven't had a chance to read it yet, I'm afraid.
Ah, then I won't say any more about it. My dream was to have a magazine that was well-respected and educational. But sadly, it seems today's audiences are much more interested in reading about sightings of giant bat creatures or mysterious buried treasures. Such a pity.
I hear you have a bit of a reputation for making your reporters do questionable things for their articles.
You are mistaken, Mr. Fordham. I don't force my writers to do anything. They seem to have this notion that the more extreme their research, the more authentic the articles will be.
What sort of extremes are we talking about here?
We had one writer who attempted to heighten the sensation of fear she wanted to express in her story. Damn near decapitated herself by sticking her head through an opening at the clock tower at St. Denis Cathedral. Ugh. Thankfully, she made it out alive. It would have been quite the predicament if she hadn't. Especially considering that was our most popular article last year. Oh, people have such odd taste.
Very, okay.
What can you tell me about Desiree Lathan?
Desiree Lathan. Oh, why, she came to me a few weeks ago in response to an ad I took out requesting articles. She told me she had an idea readers would love. We agreed on 10 crowns per paragraph, and she was on her way. Come to think of it, I haven't heard from her in a few days.
Were you aware that Miss Lathan is dead?
What? No, I had no idea. What happened?
I'm not exactly sure. She seems to have burned to death under mysterious circumstances.
Mysterious circumstances?
Most of her body was burnt to ash, but there's very little fire damage around her. It's as though she herself just caught fire.
Oh, that sounds positively ghastly. Oh dear.
Is something wrong?
I just remembered. The article she was writing. Dear God. I hope she didn't go too far with her research.
What research, man? Spit
What
it out.
exactly was Desiree's article about?
I'm not entirely sure. She merely came to me with the proposal.
She didn't tell you what that idea was?
She did, but I wasn't sure what to make of it.
Please, Mr. Brentwell, stop stalling and tell me what she was writing about.
It was about spontaneous human combustion.
Uh-huh.
What do you know about spontaneous human combustion?
That's the thing. I don't know very much at all. It sounded interesting enough. That's why I accepted Miss Lathan's proposal to write the article about it.
But what do you know about it?
Only that it's a mysterious phenomenon in which a person catches fire spontaneously and burns to death. It sounds exactly as you described Miss Lathan's condition.
Do you know what Miss Lathan's research on the subject involved?
Only the one contact I gave her, a Miss Angela Maxwell at the Spectre Society in Gascon.
Really?
The Spectre Society, huh? I shouldn't be surprised to hear that name again.
Are you a member?
Actually, I am.
Then I suggest you do some research there. There's bound to be something relevant in that curious library of theirs.
Thank you. Perhaps I will.
It's another good lead.
Thanks for your time, Mr. Brentwell.
The pleasure is all mine.
Alright, let's go visit Usher Price and find out about that will and testament.
Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the law offices of Usher and Price. May I help you?
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator, and I'm looking for Jonas Usher.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir, but Mr. Usher is not seeing anyone today. If it's a matter of urgent legal importance, you could see Mr. Price. Oh, that smell! I thought I told Mr. Usher to throw away that sandwich.
The plaque says it's a portrait of Thomas Usher. Looks like a real go-getter. Seems like they've got some kind of modern message delivery service in here. Of all the things to spend your money on. That pipe really clashes with the rest of the decor in here.
Begging your pardon, sir.
Yes?
If I may ask, what is the reason for Mr. Usher's refusal to see anyone today?
He has a rather important trial starting tomorrow, and doesn't want to run the risk of falling ill.
Falling ill?
Mr. Usher is very particular about his health. Very particular.
I see. Might it be possible to relay a message to Mr. Usher?
Yes, you can leave a message or calling card with me, and I'll make sure Mr. Usher gets it.
Sir, it is of the utmost importance that I speak with Mr. Usher.
And as I said, he isn't taking visitors today.
But it's in regards to his client, Desiree Lathan. Or should I say, former client.
Miss Lathan found another attorney?
No, I'm sorry to be the one to have to inform you, but she's dead.
Dead? I had no idea.
No? It was in today's newspaper.
I haven't read it yet. Mr. Usher forbids it in the office.
But surely he's read it. Just because he forbids you reading the paper in the office.
No, I mean he forbids the presence of newspapers in the office. He fears they bring in outside germs.
I see.
In any case, if what you say is true, I'll need some sort of proof.
I suppose just bringing in a copy of the newspaper is out of the question, then. We'll have to find another way.
Yeah, no.
Perhaps Mr. Usher will see me when he sees this.
Oh, what's that?
Do we want to do this? screw up anything. I don't know. Click.
I actually
we're not
don't
doing
have
that.
anything
That was
to
random.
show.
Right. Please stop wasting my time then. I'm very busy.
All right.
I appreciate your time.
Enjoy the rest of your day, sir.
Let's wait till the proof of death, then we'll do that. Alright, so next up, I think, is to the morgue, and we will cover that next time. So, this is getting pretty interesting. I'm wondering if she might have burned herself, but I really have a feeling that there might be plants involved here, and something tied in with our bigger case, and possibly tied into the mass murder case. We'll just have to find out, so tune in next time. For now, please like if you've liked this video, subscribe to the channel and spread the word. My name is Darwin, and I will see you on the flip side.